So there's a new AI on the block. But this is not just another chatbot or a fancy new tool. This is something different. It's an AI that works like an actual teammate. And honestly, it's about to change how we build, well, pretty much everything in our digital world.
But before we dive into all that, let me just ask you a quick question. What is 694 squared? Go ahead, take a second. It's not exactly easy to do in your head, right?
The answer is 481,636. Now, I want you to imagine someone calculating that in their head, like instantly. The person who can do that, well, he's the mind behind this entire revolution.
Yep, that mind belongs to Scott Wu. He's the CEO of Cognition, and he's a former math and programming prodigy who is now channeling that insane cognitive horsepower into building Devin, the world's very first AI software engineer.
But here's where the story gets really, really interesting. Scott Wu isn't some lone genius. He's actually part of a whole new guard of founders. And believe me, they are completely changing the game in tech.
And look, these are not just random names on a list. This is a whole cohort of people who all grew up competing in the same elite math and programming circles, and now they're building the most important AI companies on the planet.
In fact, Scott says it himself. They all knew each other, they all competed against each other. And that shared background, that intense focus on logic and problem solving, is really the key to understanding why they are the ones leading this charge.
So, what is the huge problem that this new guard is so perfectly positioned to solve? Well, it all comes down to this hidden, frustrating thing that every single software engineer deals with. It's called accidental complexity.
Okay, let's break this down, because it's super important. Essential complexity is the fun stuff, right? It's the creative problem solving, designing cool new systems. But then there's accidental complexity. That's all the other junk, the tedious, repetitive, mind-numbing grunt work of updating code, managing dependencies, all the stuff that has to get done but isn't really creative.
And here's the absolute kicker. According to Scott Wu, engineers spend a staggering 85% of their time stuck in that accidental complexity. Just let that sink in. The most brilliant, creative work only gets about 15% of their brainpower. It's a huge waste.
And that, right there, is the exact problem that Devin was built to solve. It is designed to be the ultimate weapon against all that grunt work. But you gotta understand, this is not just another coding assistant. It's a whole new thing entirely.
To really get it, you have to know the difference between a copilot and an agent. A copilot, like GitHub Copilot, helps you work. It's like a really, really smart autocomplete. But an agent, like Devin, it actually does the work for you. You don't sit there and watch it. You delegate a task, and it just goes off and gets it done, like a human teammate would.
And if you're thinking, okay, how real is this? Scott Wu says his own team uses Devin for just like everyday office tasks. They can literally type in Slack @Devin, can you go buy some more whiteboards for us? And it'll go to Amazon and order them. It's a real member of the team.
So the best way to think about Devin, at least right now, is like a super-powered, tireless junior engineer. You can just assign it a ticket in Jira or whatever you use, and it'll get to work, fixing bugs or building features, and then report back when it's finished.
Okay, so let's zoom out. What does this actually mean for the future? What really happens to the entire software industry when an AI like Devin truly joins the team?
And look, this isn't just some theory. In the companies where Devin is already working, it's autonomously merging 30 to 40% of all of the code changes. That's a massive, real-world productivity boost, and it frees up all the human engineers to focus on the big, important problems.
And the long-term vision? It's even bigger. Scott Wu predicts that in just 2 to 4 years, the whole job of a software engineer is going to change. It won't be about writing individual lines of code anymore. It'll be about making high-level architectural decisions and telling the computer what to build.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Does this mean fewer jobs for engineers? Well, there's this economic idea called Jevons paradox, and it says, pretty convincingly, no. When technology makes something way cheaper and easier, we don't use less of it, we end up using way, way more. We're about to see an explosion of new software, which means we'll need more engineers, not fewer.
So what does all this add up to? Well, Scott Wu has this perfect analogy for what's happening. He calls it the money-ballification of software engineering. It's this fundamental shift from software being an art form to it becoming a science.
I mean, think about it. We've seen this movie before, right? Chess used to be all about intuition and romantic styles. Now it's all math and computer engines.
Poker went from being about gut feelings and bluffs to being all about probability and solvers. Software is just the next domino to fall, moving from this artisanal craft to a system driven by pure math.
And that brings us right back to the beginning, full circle. It is no accident that this new guard of founders, the kids who are raised on the pure logic of competitive math, are the ones building this new world. Their entire mindset is about finding the most optimal, mathematically sound solution. They're turning software development into a math problem that they can solve.
So, software engineering is being totally transformed from an art into a science. And that really just leaves one big question on the table. What's the next industry, still running on intuition and gut feeling today, that's about to get moneyballed tomorrow?